Ladies and gentlemen, you know what most people fear more than failure? Being alone. We live in a world where silence feels like punishment and solitude feels like rejection. But here's the truth. Sometimes the best thing that can happen to you is being alone. Because when you're alone, you finally get to meet the most powerful person you'll ever know yourself. When you're by yourself, that's not loneliness. That's your laboratory. That's the place where you build your vision, your confidence, your peace, and your power. Most people are so distracted by noise that they never hear their own purpose calling. They chase approval, they chase company, they chase validation. But when you get comfortable being alone, you stop chasing and start attracting. See, happiness isn't about who's around you. It's about who's within you. It's the moment you realize you don't need a crowd to feel complete. You need clarity. You don't need company to feel alive. You need connection to your creator and your calling. You know what's crazy? Most people think being alone means being lonely. But that's not true. Being alone is not your weakness. It's your superpower. It's the greatest opportunity you'll ever have to discover who you really are when the noise disappears, when the applause fades, and when no one's around to tell you what to do or who to be. See, solitude doesn't shrink you. It strengthens you. It's not punishment. It's preparation. It's not emptiness. It's energy. And the moment you stop running from it, that's the moment you start becoming powerful. When you sit in silence, something incredible happens. Your mind begins to declutter. The world moves fast. Everyone's chasing likes, chasing validation, chasing attention. But in solitude, there's no one to impress. There's no image to protect. It's just you, raw, real, and filtered. And that's where growth begins. Because when the noise fades, the truth speaks. You start hearing your thoughts clearly. You begin to separate what's real from what's fake, what's important from what's irrelevant, and what's temporary from what's eternal. People fear being alone because they've been taught that silence means something's wrong. But silence doesn't mean you've lost connection. It means you're about to reconnect with yourself. When you embrace solitude, you give your soul the space to breathe again. You start asking deeper questions. Who am I really? What do I believe in? What kind of life do I want to create? And when you begin to answer those questions with honesty, you take back control over your destiny. You've got to understand this. Some of your most powerful breakthroughs won't happen in a crowd. They'll happen when you're sitting in a quiet room, face to face with your fears, your flaws, and your future. That's where transformation begins. It's in that private space where your vision becomes clear and your faith gets stronger. Solitude is where you learn to build your mindset like a fortress. Because when you can stand strong by yourself, no storm can shake you. Let me drop a truth bomb right here. Most people can't handle being alone because they don't like the company of their own thoughts. But here's the truth. If you can't sit with yourself, you'll never truly connect with anyone else, because real connection begins with self-acceptance. You can't give peace if you don't have peace. You can't share love if you don't know how to love yourself. You can't lead others if you're lost inside. Solitude forces you to face that mirror. It makes you grow up spiritually, mentally, emotionally. When you learn to enjoy being alone, you become dangerous. Not because you're aggressive, but because you're unshakable. You're no longer moved by who leaves, who stays, or who notices. You stop chasing validation and start attracting alignment. You stop begging for attention and start building intention. That's power. That's maturity. That's growth. And let me tell you something. Solitude doesn't make you isolated. It makes you independent. It doesn't make you cold. It makes you clear. It's the season where God shapes your character away from the spotlight. He's not ignoring you, he's instructing you. He's not punishing you, he's preparing you. When you're in solitude, he's teaching you patience, discipline, resilience, the invisible ingredients that create visible success. You can't hear destiny's whisper in a room full of noise. You've got to get quiet enough to listen. That's why solitude is your superpower. It's the classroom of champions. It's where dreams get direction and pain finds purpose. The people who change the world are the ones who first learned how to sit still, think deeply, and move deliberately. When you sit with yourself long enough, you begin to notice patterns. You start recognizing the habits that drain you, the thoughts that limit you, and the fears that hold you back. You begin to realize that the only person standing between you and your next level is the version of you that refuses to grow. And in solitude, you finally have the courage to confront that version and say, your time is up. I'm becoming someone greater. So stop running from your own company. Stop calling solitude loneliness. Start calling it alignment. Because in that quiet space, you'll learn that peace is not found in other people. It's built inside you. You'll discover that happiness isn't about having a crowd. It's about having clarity. And you'll realize that your energy doesn't come from external validation. It comes from internal strength. You have to believe this. The world may celebrate noise, but success is born in silence. Every great idea, every great invention, every great transformation started with someone who wasn't afraid to be alone. Solitude isn't the absence of connection. It's the foundation of it. It's where you connect with your creator, your purpose, and your potential. So the next time you find yourself alone, don't reach for your phone, reach for your purpose. Don't fill the silence, feel it, let it teach you, mold you, and sharpen you. Because once you learn to be happy alone, you'll never again depend on anyone to complete you. You'll already be whole. You'll already be powerful. You'll already be ready for the next level that life has waiting for you. You know what most people get wrong about happiness? They think it's something they can buy, something they can find in someone else's smile, or something that shows up only when life feels perfect. But that's not happiness. That's dependency. Real happiness isn't built on people, possessions, or popularity. It's built from within. It's not what's happening around you that matters most. It's what's happening inside you. Because if you can learn to create peace internally, no external chaos can destroy it. Happiness that depends on others is fragile. It breaks when they leave, it shakes when they disappoint you, and it fades when life stops going your way. But happiness, that comes from within, that's bulletproof, that's unbreakable, that's freedom. Because when your joy comes from who you are, not who you're with, you stop living like a victim and start living like a creator. You stop chasing validation and start producing value. You stop reacting to life and start designing it. Here's the truth. No one can make you happy if you're not already at peace with yourself. People can add joy to your life, yes, but they can't be your source of it. That's too heavy a burden for anyone to carry. You've got to build your own inner foundation strong enough that even when the world shakes, you still stand tall. You can't control what others say or do, but you can always control how you respond, how you think, and how you grow. Too many people are addicted to external approval. They post for likes, they perform for attention, they live for applause. But let me tell you something powerful. If applause is the only sound that validates you, silence will destroy you. The most successful and peaceful people on this planet have learned how to be okay when no one's watching. They've mastered the art of being self-fueled, not crowd-fed. That's what emotional independence looks like. When you base your happiness on other people, you're giving them remote control of your emotions. And every time they disappoint you, they press the mute button on your joy. You can't live like that. You've got to take that control back. You've got to say, my peace is mine, my joy is mine, my happiness is mine. Because the moment you realize happiness is an inside job, you stop looking for permission to feel good. You start deciding to feel good regardless of circumstances. Happiness begins with gratitude. You can't be miserable and thankful at the same time when you start appreciating what you already have, your breath, your mind, your growth, your lessons. You begin to attract more things to be grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's meaningful. It reminds you that life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. You don't need everything to go right to be all right. And here's a little truth you won't hear often. Happiness doesn't show up after success. It creates success. When you're happy from within, you perform better, you attract better, and you become a magnet for better. You think clearer, move bolder, and handle challenges with grace because you're not operating from emptiness. You're operating from overflow. You've filled yourself first. So everything you give is abundance, not desperation. You can't wait for life to calm down to be happy. You've got to decide to be happy even while it's storming. That's where strength comes from. The ability to smile while you build, to stay grateful while you grow, and to stay at peace while everything else feels uncertain. When you live from that place, you realize that happiness isn't a destination, it's a discipline. It's a daily decision to choose joy, gratitude, and peace over fear, frustration, and comparison. Most people say, I'll be happy when I get the promotion, when I meet the right person, when I have more money. But that mindset keeps you chasing happiness like it's running away from you. You've got to stop waiting for happiness to arrive and start creating it where you stand. Because if you're not happy now, more won't fix it. The new car, the bigger house, the new relationship, they can make life more comfortable, but they can't make your soul more content. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat in silence and said, I'm enough? Not because someone else said it, not because you achieved something big, but just because you're alive, learning, and growing. That moment of self-acknowledgement is where real happiness starts. It's the moment you give yourself permission to enjoy life without needing a reason. That's when you become unstoppable. People who are happy from within walk differently. They glow differently. You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it in their energy. They're not chasing, they're creating, they're not begging, they're building. They don't need to be seen to feel valuable. They already know their worth. And that's the kind of happiness no one can take from you. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't scroll through your phone looking for a reason to smile. Be the reason. Speak life into yourself. Thank God for another chance. Look in the mirror and say, I'm growing, I'm becoming, and I'm grateful. Because happiness doesn't come from outside validation. It comes from inside revelation. It's knowing that even if everything around you falls apart, you still have the power to rebuild. And that's something no one can take away. Your peace, your joy, your happiness, they belong to you. Guard them. Protect them. Build them daily. Because once you master being happy from within, the world can no longer control your weather. You become your own sunshine. And that right there is what true happiness really is. You ever notice how life sometimes pulls you away from everyone? How suddenly the phone stops ringing, the invitations stop coming, and you find yourself walking a road that feels empty. Most people panic in that season. They think something went wrong, that they've been forgotten, that they've been left behind. But here's the truth. Isolation isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's not that life is against you, it's that life is positioning you. When God, destiny, or whatever you believe in wants to take you higher, he first takes you aside, because where you're going, not everyone can follow. You've got to understand this. Before elevation comes separation. Every strong structure needs a quiet foundation season. And that season often looks like silence, distance, and loneliness. But in that isolation, you're being shaped, stretched, and strengthened for something far bigger than what you can see right now. When everything slows down and people start disappearing, that's not the time to complain. That's the time to listen. Because what feels like rejection is often redirection. What feels like loneliness is often leadership training. Most people want the spotlight without understanding the shadows that build it. They crave recognition but skip the refinement. They want results without resilience. But greatness doesn't grow in crowds, it grows in caves. Think about it. Every major transformation in history began in isolation. The caterpillar doesn't turn to a butterfly at a party. It does so in the dark, in silence, in its cocoon. You can't skip your cocoon season and expect to soar. The isolation you fear is the process you need. Sometimes God hides you because he's healing you. Sometimes he slows you down because he's preparing your next move. You can't rush the process and expect the product to last. You've got to be still long enough to let the roots grow deep, because the higher your destiny, the stronger your foundation needs to be. And strong foundations aren't built on noise. They're built on focus. You can't discover your purpose when you're constantly distracted by people who don't even know theirs. When life isolates you, it's because there's something you need to see, something you need to unlearn, and something you need to build. You may feel forgotten, but you're being refined. Diamonds don't shine in the open. They're formed under pressure and in darkness. You are being developed in places no one can see, so that when you finally step into the light, your shine will speak for itself. That's why isolation feels hard. It's not meant to comfort you, it's meant to construct you. Let's be real. Isolation tests your patience, your identity, and your faith. It strips away the noise and forces you to confront what's really inside. You can't hide from yourself in solitude. You'll hear every insecurity, every fear, every doubt, but don't run from that. Embrace it, because those moments of confrontation are moments of transformation. You can't heal what you won't face, and you can't grow through what you keep running from. Isolation is the classroom where you finally learn the lessons life has been trying to teach you all along. It's also where your vision becomes clear. When you're surrounded by people, opinions cloud your clarity. Everyone has an idea of what you should be, where you should go, and how you should live. But when you're alone, the voices fade and your purpose gets louder. You start hearing that inner calling again, the one that whispers, "You're made for more." That whisper gets lost in the crowd, but it echoes powerfully in the quiet. That's why solitude isn't empty. It's full of instruction. And don't mistake isolation for inactivity. Just because nothing looks like it's happening doesn't mean growth isn't taking place. Seeds don't sprout the moment they're planted. They grow in hidden soil before they ever touch the sunlight. Your isolation is that soil. It's the place where you're developing the discipline, the strength, and the resilience you'll need for the season that's coming next. While the world sleeps on you, God is working in you. This is why you've got to stop comparing your timeline to everyone else's. Their season of blooming might be now, but yours is coming. And when it does, it'll last longer because it was built on preparation, not pressure. You can't copy someone else's process and expect your purpose to flourish. Isolation personalizes your growth. It molds you uniquely, deliberately, intentionally. Sometimes the reason people can't go where you're going is because they're not equipped to handle the version of you that's being built in solitude. And that's okay. Growth often requires letting go. The version of you that's emerging can't fit in the same rooms that once felt comfortable. Isolation reveals that. It shows you that your destiny is too heavy to carry with people who don't have the same direction. So if you find yourself alone, stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What's this trying to teach me?" Because every quiet season carries a hidden assignment. Maybe it's building your confidence. Maybe it's deepening your faith. Maybe it's teaching you how to trust the process when the progress isn't visible. Whatever it is, know this: isolation isn't where your story ends. It's where your strength begins. Because when you come out of that season, you won't just be stronger, you'll be sharper. You'll think differently, move differently, and live differently. The same people who doubted you will wonder how you did it. And you'll smile, because you'll know that while they were talking, you were transforming. While they were distracted, you were developing. And while they were chasing attention, you were building authenticity. So don't curse your isolation. Don't rush your preparation. The same darkness that feels lonely today is the same place where your light is being built. Embrace it, endure it, and grow through it, because the world may not see it yet, but when it does, your purpose will speak louder than any pain that tried to stop you. You know what's interesting? Most people are obsessed with finding the right partner, the right team, or the right circle, but very few are focused on becoming the right person. They want to build a life with others before they've built a solid life within themselves. And that's why so many people end up lost in relationships, drained in friendships, or confused in partnerships. Because when you don't know who you are alone, you'll lose yourself trying to fit with others. The truth is simple. Before you build with others, you must first build yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't give love if you don't understand what love truly is. You can't lead others if you haven't learned to lead yourself. Building yourself isn't selfish. It's essential, because when you invest in becoming a stronger, wiser, and more grounded version of you, everything and everyone connected to you benefits. The relationships you attract get better. The opportunities that find you become bigger. And the peace you carry becomes unshakable. Let's be honest, too many people are rushing to build towers with weak foundations. They want the mansion, but they've never built the mindset. They want commitment, but avoid accountability. They want connection, but fear reflection. You can't skip the self-work and expect your life to stand tall when storms come. When you don't build yourself first, you depend on others to complete you. And dependency breeds disappointment, because nobody can fill the void you refuse to face. Here's a truth that might sting. People can only meet you at the level you've met yourself. If you don't respect your own time, others won't. If you don't know your worth, others will discount it. If you don't set boundaries, others will break them. The world mirrors what you project. That's why personal growth is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You're either building strength or building excuses. And your future depends on which one you choose daily. When you're alone, that's not a setback. That's your season to sharpen your tools. That's when you develop discipline, patience, focus, and clarity. It's your construction phase, the gym of your soul, the training ground of your potential. You're not missing out when you're working on yourself. You're preparing for what's meant for you. Don't rush the process. You can't microwave mastery. Greatness takes time, and purpose demands preparation. When you focus on building yourself, you stop chasing people who don't match your energy. You stop begging for validation because you've already validated yourself. You stop lowering your standards to keep company because you've finally realized your value. You stop looking for someone to fix you and start becoming the person who's whole enough to walk alone until the right connection aligns naturally. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. There's something powerful that happens when you build yourself privately. People may not see your effort, but your energy will show the results. You'll move differently. You'll speak with more conviction. You'll make decisions based on peace, not pressure. And when others see you evolving, they'll either level up with you or fall away from you. Don't resist that. It's part of the process. Growth naturally filters out what's not meant to grow with you. Sometimes you'll outgrow the people you once depended on. That's not betrayal. That's breakthrough. You're evolving beyond environments that no longer feed your purpose. And it's okay. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. The ones who are supposed to be there will grow alongside you. But you can't pull people forward who are determined to stay behind. That's why your primary responsibility is to keep building you. Building yourself means working on your mindset daily. It means reading, learning, praying, journaling, reflecting, and healing. It means facing your flaws instead of faking perfection. It means forgiving yourself for your past and preparing yourself for your potential. Because the person you are becoming is far more important than the comfort you're leaving behind. And let's be clear, building yourself isn't glamorous. It's not about motivational quotes or quick success. It's about those quiet moments when you choose discipline over distraction, when you keep promises to yourself, and when you show up even when no one's watching. It's about doing the hard work of self-improvement when it would be easier to blame circumstances. That's how character is built, not in comfort, but in commitment. The more you build yourself, the less you'll settle. You'll stop chasing temporary pleasure because you've found lasting peace. You'll stop running after validation because you've built internal confidence. You'll stop fearing solitude because you've learned to enjoy your own company. That's when you become magnetic, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you've become someone who impresses yourself. So while others are distracted by crowds, focus on construction. While others are posting highlights, build your habits. While others are searching for connection, build your character. Because when the foundation of you is strong, every other area of your life will stand taller. You won't crumble under pressure. You won't break under criticism. You won't lose yourself in love. You'll be solid, centered, confident, and unshakable. And when you finally meet the right people, the right opportunities, the right season, you won't come as half a person looking for completion. You'll come as a whole person ready for collaboration. You won't drain others. You'll inspire them. You won't seek to be saved. You'll be ready to serve. Because when you build yourself first, you don't enter relationships to escape loneliness. You enter them to expand legacy. You know what most people don't realize. You're never truly alone when you're walking in purpose. Even when life feels quiet, even when doors close, even when it seems like no one understands your vision, you're not abandoned. You're aligned. There's a difference between isolation and intention. When you're walking with purpose, your steps are guided. The silence isn't empty. It's full of divine instruction. Every moment of stillness, every season of solitude is shaping you for something greater than where you are right now. Too often, people confuse company with connection. They think being surrounded means being supported. But sometimes the crowd around you isn't clapping for your success. They're just comfortable with your stagnation. And that's why purpose often pulls you away from the noise. It separates you, not to punish you, but to position you. Because when your mission is big, not everyone can understand it, and not everyone is meant to walk beside you while you build it. When you start walking in purpose, you realize that divine timing doesn't need an audience. It needs obedience. It doesn't need popularity. It needs persistence. There's something sacred about those seasons where it's just you, your faith, and your focus. Those are the seasons that build your strength, your discipline, and your courage. Purpose doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in conviction. And the moment you stop fearing being alone is the moment you start hearing your true calling. Let me tell you something powerful. Every person who has ever done something world-changing had to walk alone for a while. That walk is where you gain vision. That walk is where you discover who you really are. When you walk in purpose, you're not waiting for the world to agree with your direction. You're following the pull that was placed in your spirit long before anyone else could see it. The world may call it lonely, but it's not loneliness. It's leadership. Purpose will test you before it blesses you. It will strip away comfort to strengthen your character. It will take you through seasons where you question everything, not because you're lost, but because you're learning to trust the process. You'll have moments when people walk away, when opportunity's close, when the path ahead looks uncertain. But in those moments, purpose is whispering, keep walking, keep believing, keep becoming. Because even when you can't see the full picture, you're still part of the plan. When you walk in purpose, you begin to realize that not everyone is supposed to understand your journey. And that's okay. Stop expecting people who haven't heard your calling to validate your direction. Your purpose wasn't a conference call. It was a private conversation between you and your creator. You don't need the world's approval when you have divine assignment. You don't need a crowd to feel confirmed when you're already chosen. The beauty of walking in purpose is that it changes your definition of peace. Peace is no longer about who stays or who leaves. It's about knowing that everything happening is part of your preparation. You stop forcing connections that don't fit. Stop chasing things that drain you. And start trusting that whatever leaves your life was never required for your destiny. That's the freedom that comes from alignment. When you truly walk in purpose, you realize that your joy isn't situational, it's spiritual. It's not dependent on what you have, it's rooted in who you're becoming. Purpose gives pain a reason. It turns setbacks into lessons and delays into direction. You begin to see that nothing in your life is wasted. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every challenge is being used to refine you. You stop asking, why me? And start declaring, try me, because I'm ready for what's next. Purpose gives you perspective. It reminds you that rejection isn't the end. It's redirection. That disappointment isn't defeat. It's development. That silence isn't absence. It's alignment. Every great person you admire went through a season where they felt misunderstood. They had to learn to walk alone with vision before they could walk publicly with victory. That's the cost of calling. You'll have to believe before anyone else does. But here's the beautiful thing. When you walk in purpose, you're never truly walking alone. There's a divine presence guiding your steps, ordering your path, and turning your obstacles into opportunities. The universe or God or whatever you believe in, it's aligning everything behind the scenes to work in your favor. Even the delays are protection. Even the detours are direction. You're being led even when it doesn't feel like it. And that's why you have to keep walking even when the road feels empty. Keep trusting even when it doesn't make sense. Keep believing even when no one else sees it. Because one day, everything that felt like isolation will make sense as preparation. One day, you'll look back and realize that those lonely nights built your faith. Those quiet days strengthened your focus. Those tearful moments sharpened your resilience. You're never truly alone when you're walking in purpose, because purpose is partnership with destiny. It's walking hand in hand with something bigger than yourself. It's knowing that even in your silence, you're being spoken to. Even in your stillness, you're being shaped. And even in your struggle, you're being strengthened. So don't fear walking alone. Fear walking without direction. Because the moment you align with purpose, you'll realize that solitude isn't the absence of people. It's the presence of power. Every step you take is guided. Every challenge you face is growth. Every day you stay faithful You're getting closer to the person you were created to become. And once you truly understand that, you'll never again feel alone because your purpose will always walk with you. So today, I want you to stop seeing solitude as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. God is not isolating you. He's incubating you. He's growing something inside you that doesn't need applause to be real. Learn to enjoy your own company. Talk to yourself with kindness, dream in silence, build in private, and when the time is right, step out with power, not because you need the world, but because you're ready to serve it. Remember this, you are never truly alone when you walk in purpose.